Welcome to our latest episode of Worthy of Rescue. In these podcasts, my guests and I bring to you a biblical worldview. We bring you a scripture or a topic to help you in your daily life. Tuesday, I had my special guest, Dr. Christine Van Horn, with me. She was speaking about teaching your children timeless truths in uncertain times. I have her again as a guest today. Dr. Christine is an author of 6 published books. She's a speaker, a teacher, and a podcaster. Today, we're going to be speaking about her book series, Captain Character. Dr. Christine Van Horn has concerns for the direction the world is becoming and has a heart for investing in the lives of our children in order to improve their outcomes in life. Christine is a certified emergency manager, has a master's degree from the U.S. Naval War College, and holds a doctorate degree in Christian theology. 3 of her books are based upon character and values. You can listen to her podcast called Timeless Truths, which focuses on character, life skills, foundational values, and biblical principles. Timeless Truths is available on all podcast platforms. Today, we are going to be speaking to Dr. Christine about her series, Captain Character, which is for older children and family during reading time. This teaches good character through the eyes of a superhero. It's available on Amazon.com and through her Captain Character website, captain-character.com. She also has parent and teacher resources available there. Welcome, Christine. Is there anything else you would like to add about yourself?
Thank you again, Marianne, for having me on this podcast. And today I'd really like to focus on the topic of teaching character to our children. Now, I had mentioned in the last episode my foundational scripture, but I want to go through it again and expand on it a little bit. Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. And that's our marching orders. Me in writing this and for you in doing this for your family. But I also have a guiding scripture that I hold myself to. It's like a standard I hold myself to in the different writings that I have. And it's James 3:17 out of the modern English version. And it says, but the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And that's what I hold myself to. So in any of the things that I'm writing in these books, like we're describing, that it has to fit into all of that, or I won't put it into print.
That is a great bar to hold yourself accountable to so that you're teaching people biblical truth.
Absolutely. And I think that's something good for all of us when we are teaching biblical truths, that, it fits this scriptural standard
Yes.
that we can hold ourselves to, and that one is mine. So when I mentioned it in the last podcast, when the Lord guided me to write about Captain Character, was at a conference, and He just said the words in my spirit, Captain Character, and I sat there and I thought, Lord, what was that? I didn't know what I meant. I had no clue. So I went home and I wrote those words down and, turned to Him in prayer and it's like, "God, tell me what this is." Once I realized this was going to be a superhero, it truly was God, because I didn't know anything about superheroes. I never read a comic book in my life. I never watched a superhero movie. So I knew this was God, and it was a test of faith that I could keep turning to Him and He was going to guide me as to what this was. And so that's what He did. He just guided me onto this process.
This is a beautiful process, and it is a true test of faith. In light of your Captain Character book series, why do you think it's difficult for adults today to teach character traits to their children?
Well, there's so much negativity in the world. There's like riots, shooting, murder, fighting, all these terrible things that our children are exposed to. But as the parent, as the grandparent, we need to overcome that. And we need to teach them the good things. and they need to see what good character looks like, because what they're seeing in the world is what bad character looks like. So there's a real process that we really need uh, to do, and we have to show them what good character looks like.
Yes, they're being bombarded, like you said, with character that in our day and age was not considered good, and it would not have been acceptable in actions in school, the workplace. So, how do you recommend teaching good character?
Well, I think of it in like three steps to follow. And the first one is to be the example of good character for them. And I talked about that some in the previous podcast. You need to show them what it looks like. It needs to be biblical what you do. So you have to watch yourself extremely carefully, because they're watching you, but you need to be that example of good character for them. The second thing is to prepare them in advance, because when something happens that they are facing, it's not the time for them to think, oh, what do I do? No, they
Yes.
need to have that inside of them. And it is your responsibility to prepare them so that when those incidents occur, they know how to make excellent character choices. And you do that by spending time talking with them. You talk this out in advance. Take a character trait to study. Or here's an example. Say somebody comes home from school and they're talking about somebody was bullied. You take that negative situation, you turn it around into something positive,
Yes.
and you teach them respect as an example for a character choice. And then have a discussion. You tell them what your expectations are for them in situations like that, and how to respect others, and how do they handle a situation if someone tries to bully them. These are things they need to know in advance, rather than just all of a sudden be confronted in one of these terrible situations and they don't know what to do. So, as I mentioned in the last one, having that family discussion time that you plan in advance is really important. And three is a great way for your children to learn about good characters, for them to read about it. You have to have interesting reading to catch their interest. So a good example would be things like good biographies, maybe good presidents in the past, or something historical. But something wholesome is really important for them to read. And you need to pay attention to what your children are reading, because just if it comes from the school library does not mean it is wholesome. There's some very negative things and things they shouldn't be reading that are coming from the libraries. Get involved in what your children are reading.
I agree with you, Christine, on that. I've seen some books that are available to children of all ages, which should not be in there. What have you personally done to help children read about good character?
Well, I created a modern day superhero because children like a superhero. And it's a great way to teach good character traits and values. And it was God's idea, because this was nothing I had anything to do with. I just listened to his voice and I did it. And so it is something that you can get together as a family. And as I mentioned, it was really written for older children, like um, middle school and junior high age, but it can apply to everyone if the parents get involved and help explain things to the younger children. And you can have some good family discussion time out of it. So,
It's very exciting for them, for the children. They will get excited about superheroes, superpowers. They
yeah,
put bath towels around their neck with safety pins and stuff, and they act out these hero characters. So I really think this is very intriguing.
yes, and I hope they do things like that. So let me tell you a little bit about Captain Character. He receives his superpowers in an intriguing way. He's got the power to capture people's attention, cause them to freeze in their tracks with his focus, and he
Mhm.
teaches them the good character lessons they need to learn so they can change their actions and attitudes and turn from their negative ways. So he teaches these lessons in character. It makes a real difference in the lives of the people in the stories. So this is a chapter book series. I have two written so far: Captain Character, The Adventure Begins, and Captain Character, The Legend. I have intentions and outlines for the next books to be written as well.
Good.
And these can be purchased through Amazon. That's what I would recommend.
Awesome. So, do you have resources that the parents can utilize when they're teaching their children about Captain Character?
Absolutely. On the Captain Character website, which is captain-character.com, there's a references tab. And in there, there are some documents for the parents. There's an introduction document, what goes into an explanation of how to do a family reading process. Then there's a document for each book with background information on the character traits in the book, with discussion questions and guidance for parental teaching moments that guides the parents. And parental teaching moments are the questions in which you can tell your children how you want them to act in these situations. Or if the negative situation, that's the reverse of what you're studying as character, happens to them, how do they handle it? And this is that teaching them in advance part, so that they are equipped to be able to handle all of this. There are also scripture uh, document in there with the different scriptural references for each book, but it outlines how you do this as wholesome family discussion time centered around these books.
That's going to help parents who may not be teachers and may not know how or where do they start. What type of character traits are used in each book?
The Adventure Begins has stories centered around the character traits of respect and self-control. And the second book, The Legend, has stories centered around the character traits of generosity, trustworthiness, and kindness. The reference tab documents tell you, how to do this and how to extract these out of the book. So they're pretty explanatory. But in these books, there are 5 character traits that you can go into in depth to really ensure your children understand these.
I think this is great. This teaches them, how do I act within my family household, out in public, at school. It
Yes.
shows them also what they're seeing out in the public eye may not be what you're teaching them. So they'll probably share those same stories with you. Hey, I saw this kid at school not respecting the teacher or the principal, or having self-control over an issue that happened in the cafeteria. They lost control and got angry. I think this is a beautiful book. I know that it's very exciting. Captain Character, superheroes. I'm so glad that you're also thinking about writing additional books, because I know that once they get done with the first one, they're going to want the second one. And once they're done with the second one, they're going to be looking for your future books as
That's
well.
already happened.
Christine, is there anything else that you would like to add today?
Just a word of encouragement. If you're a parent and you're seeing all these negative things in the world today, there's hope, there's resources. And books like this can get you on a pathway. So once you learn the process of how you want to ensure your children know what the good character traits are, and that they know what your expectations of them are, you can continue it. It's a model that you can follow through with other things. So I want to encourage you to, take a look at that references tab and see what you can apply in there.
Thank you, Christine. And thank you, my listeners. On Tuesday, we talked about Teach Your Children Timeless Truths in Uncertain Times. And today we spoke about Captain Character and the book series for a new type of superhero. You can reach Christine at her website, drchris.co or captain-character.com. And dear listener, I want you to remember, as you teach your children about Captain Character and these truths about respect, self-control, generosity, trustworthiness, and kindness, they will be walking on a path. They will be able to share with others that they are worthy of rescue and pursued by God.